I fixed this earlier. Hi there, everybody. Welcome to Roll with Advantage. My name's Joe. I'll be your Dungeon Master this evening, and this episode tonight is the... I fixed it. This episode tonight is the return of the Salamander Coast. And boy, am I excited to get into it. So no need to dally or delay. Let's just go ahead and dive in. Roll the intro, and let's get started.
Yeah, it's just got a little aggressive here.
We are back. So, let's go ahead and pick up where we last left off. Last we had left off, our group of adventurers in the Salamander Coast. Well, in all honesty, a lot had happened. After a tumultuous time delving through a dangerous, dark ruin in the nation of Belliclara, a ruin belonging to an ancient tribe of Goliaths. They found a connection to the Dark One there through a familiar face, that of Daku, an NPC that had caused them much strife and pain over their journey thus far. Luckily, throughout the course of this terrible ruin, they were able to bring Daku's life to an end. Not before, however, the scent of theirs was already being tracked by the Dark One. Sending hordes of shadows after them, the adventurers only had one choice but to leave through a waystone. A primeval way of traveling invented by the Goliaths. Now, their journey in this waystone, in the realm between, did not take them where they wanted to go. They wanted to get as far away from that ruin as they could, and, well, they were given that, but not in the way they originally thought. Having exited the Waystone into the future, not a month or a year or even 10 years, several hundred years into the future, or maybe more, a sprawling wasteland in front of them. Nothing but fire and ash, brimstone and lava. No life anywhere, except for one dark elf man, Nalfian Baynir. They had a conversation with Nalfian, a very extensive one, over what exactly happened. Because not only did they meet Nalfian, but they also saw 13 graves. One for each one of them. And who's that rustling in the bushes? Somebody's rustling.
Cameron.
I'm sorry.
So, the 13 graves. 5 for the adventurers in front of them, themselves, and then 8 more for others around the world of Illica, who apparently have a similar impact as them. They were told that there were 3 events that set this in to motion. Well, 4 technically. For one, there was the heist of Bromsgrove and the destabilization of the Salamander Coast. Something that, to the party's knowledge, has already happened. The dragon egg of sorts stolen from the Tsar's palace and has set at least the nations of Belliclara and that of the city-state of Bromsgrove at each other's throats, declaring war on one another. The other thing is of a young girl named Maya, who left the continent of Afera and headed towards the city of Bromsgrove itself, looking for an inner light of the city, something that's supposed to be representative of the power the light can have, the antithesis to the Dark One. There was also the return of the 13. 13 thralls of the Dark One, his most powerful and most deceitful. These 13 returning and overthrowing the current rulers of Eridane, the continent that the party is currently located on. The nations of Be'laklara, Loshar, Jormungandr, Tarkir, Macavia, and Iverion, overthrowing all of them and establishing a rule of their own. And then finally, one related to old Nalthian himself. You learn the tragedy of what happened to him and the companions that he traveled with, and how he now sets out to make that right, as all of you are able to convince Nalthian to come with you back to the present. And luckily, with his help, with the help of Keothi, and with some ingenuity on your own part, you do return to the present. Except not exactly where you thought you would. Snowy pine trees still surround you, similar to that of the nation of Be'laklara in the winter, but much, much, much colder. And the people here are different too. They're much more friendly, willing to share, break bread with strangers, willing to give the clothes off their back if it means that they can help somebody. Tall, broad people that some of you would recognize as the nation of the Council of Yggdrasil, specifically the lower half of Jormungandr. Now, while all of you have found the Traveler's Respite Inn and have gotten comfortable, some of you drinking a little more than you should, others of you had a bit more of a tumultuous evening. One in particular, Bianca Dusong. Frustrated with what has been happening with your life, Bianca, you stayed outside. You kept reaching out into the ether, asking for Rolius, this mysterious benefactor who has been pushing you and pulling you in certain ways to try and get you to do things, to set you on what they called the right path. They taught you the ways of the Blood Hunter, more so tricked you into doing it, and have given you no answers. But that changed on this fateful night. Right before the cold snap comes, that would cause freezing temperatures to reverberate throughout the area, Rolius appears to you. And for a moment, they're coy and they are smiley. They greet you as a friend and as a mentor, as they have before. But now, as you start to ask more questions, you start to be more aggressive, they start to get more and more aggressive back. That soft, playful voice that you're so accustomed to started to become deeper and more aggressive. Very, very, very similar to when you were originally in that brimstone hellscape that you and Ashima were first transported to. A commanding voice, an evil voice, a fiendish voice. As in front of you, Rolius began to change, and they began to elongate and stretch, becoming a creature of shadow and fire. Something terrifying, something that of nightmares. Pictured here. Glowing red eyes. Challenging you in that moment to a duel. To show it what you could do. Because without it, you're worthless. You try and make a few strikes, but the nerves are just too much for you. You fire a couple of shots, some miss, some hit, and then the creature says that it's its turn. It reaches back its claw and swipes down only once, knocking most of the life out of you, and not only that, but absorbing some of your life as well. Any of the weakness in the shadow that was caused by your shots seems to be restitched from the life it stole from you. Your morale low, your life force low, barely able to catch your breath or stand. The creature looms over you, ready to take one final strike, and then a burst of light. This absolute blinding energy shoots into the back of this creature. You can see it turn around and hiss and screech, and then run into the shadows. As you can see, approaching from the thickness of the forest, a woman with porcelain white skin, glowing gold eyes, long blonde and platinum hair, and tattoos on her face. You see a woman approach. And that is where we left off, and that is where we're going to pick up. Where in the tavern currently, as all of you are sitting there enjoying yourselves, Cecily, you had just drank in a little bit too much, just been laid down to rest by Keothi. Poe also a little bit more inebriated. Shima, you and Keothi are really the only two who are good, as Desmond also partook in the drinking a little bit. But Ashima, you and Keothi both notice it at the exact same time. As although it's in the distance, although it is a long ways away, you've been adventuring with Bianca long enough, and you recognize the sound of pistol shots. Muffled through the sounds of the building. But Keothi and Ashima, Keothi looks at you right away, and you can see her brows furrow, and she says, "That was Bianca. That is not good."
Mistakenly her. And she... just making a quick assessment. He's going to look over at Poe and Cecily to see if they're in any state. Poe, Cecily, and Desmond. Like, triage. Who can move? Like, based on...
Desmond gave the rest of his wine to Cecily last night, so he probably only had about, like, half a glass.
Okay.
Poe drank, but he didn't overdo it, I wouldn't say. He might have a little bit of trouble, but he can move.
Cecily shouldn't run. But other than that, I think maybe we're fine.
Okay. Alrighty. So with that, then, hearing the gunshots, Keothi will start to stir some of the people, Ashima, whoever you're not stirring, to get them up. And we need to go. There were gunshots. Bianca might be in danger. Encouraging all of you to head out. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Quick. Yeah.
Okay. So you can see that as you are heading to exit. There is you can see as you're getting ready to exit, coming out of your rooms, Ingvald, that man who originally greeted you with the dogs outside, says, "Oh, now what's the rush? You don't want to be going out there. The cold snap be coming any minute now. Honestly, it's not good. You need to be inside for that."
Later, maybe. We just talk about this later. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I'm just gonna slip under the giant man.
Oh, I really don't think, as he's just kind of like yelling at you, like, "No, you don't, you really," but you guys are already gone outside. As soon as you get outside, you can see that maybe to the northeast, there is a bright white flash of light. Almost like a flare that you can see for just a brief moment and then fade. Heading off in the direction of the light?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
So you head off into the direction of the light, and eventually, as you're running, you can see what looks to be the trees almost like bending and breaking in the opposite direction of the light. Snapping, falling, collapsing, piles of snow dropping onto the ground, sounding like bodies falling. And then as you run, eventually you see Bianca collapsed onto the ground, pistol, a revolver maybe 5 feet away from her, barely able to stand. And you can see that woman, porcelain skin, golden eyes, platinum and golden blonde hair draping down past her shoulders. As Bianca, she is just now getting down, putting one knee on the ground and sort of going to grab your shoulder as the rest of the party approaches. So you all see that. She hasn't said a word yet to Bianca either. So Bianca, she is just approaching you as the party is approaching. What are you guys doing?
What's her posture look like? Like, is she...
She's not... She doesn't seem to be in any state of panic or anxiety. It's very relaxed.
Okay. Yeah, just quietly doing an ocular pat down over here. Just... threat.
You know,
Yeah.
and
Cecily... Cecily's probably gonna, like, try to ready shocking grasp in her hand, and then have to go, like, spit a little bit behind a tree, because she's not quite awake yet. But that's all she can really do at the moment.
Who's gonna
Go for it.
Bianca, are you okay? Is this person giving you trouble?
And then, so I'm assuming the witch woman is she approached Bianca, and she's
yeah, right now she's like kneeling down next to you, about to touch you.
Bianca's like kind of just lightheaded and loopy and not handling everything. If the witch seems like she's not gonna hurt her, Bianca will like lean on her.
Okay. So you do.
Poe is.
What's Poe
I
doing?
think it's just confusing because huge flash of light. The stranger's approaching Bianca. Bianca's not responding.
Normal day.
So I guess.
Okay. Nobody stops her. She's going to reach towards you, Bianca, and then sort of grab the back of your head, like back of your neck, to kind of cradle it and pull it forward. And with another hand on your shoulder, she's going to cast Greater Restoration. As you can see, those tattoos begin to glow a bright, vibrant green. As the energy discharges, Bianca, you feel your hit point maximum return. You're still low, so you're still at 18 out of whatever, but you can go back to whatever your total was before.
Oh, geez, do I remember? I think it was like 54.
It should be on, it should be on D&D Beyond. Oh,
Okay,
wait.
we'll check later. I'll put it 54 for now.
You were right, 54. Yep. Luckily, I had D&D Beyond ready. I was thinking.
Hey.
So you cast Greater Restoration. So you're still at 18. So you're still definitely exhausted, but you can feel some of the skin around where the wounds hit you begin to untighten and de-wither. As she has that very neutral expression on her face, and then you see as she starts to look at you and the rest of you, her face begins to cringe a little bit. And especially at you, Poe. You can see there's definitely this... She lingers on you a bit longer. Her jaw tenses. She looks back down towards you, Bianca, and says, "What are you doing here?"
It was a mistake.
You should not be here.
Yeah.
You all are so out of sorts.
We didn't mean any offense. We only came to see if our friend was all right. Bianca, what happened?
A lot. I'm not entirely sure. Can we talk about it in a bit? You can tell Bianca's kind of like holding herself a little bit, not because it's cold, but for like comfort.
Yeah.
Okay, but who is she then?
I don't know. And then Bianca will like look at the woman. thank you. I know you didn't need to help me.
It was the right thing to do. You all must come with me, however. Are there any others who traveled with you?
No, it's just us.
Why should we go with you?
For one, if that thing comes back again, you'll want to be with me. For two, and you can see her just stare at you, Poe, just kind of making eye contact with you now. There are many things wrong here that need to be sorted out.
I guess... Can I see if Poe would actually trust her?
Yeah, make an insight check.
Like, just... Yeah. This is not working.
Ooh, that was almost a really good roll. Oh.
Are those being rolled? Do you see those?
It didn't go through.
Oh, that's weird. It
I saw
popped up on the screen.
Yeah, I see the
Okay, one
dice.
second.
natural
Take
20.
natural 20.
What? Was it actually, or... Okay. Hold on.
No.
Okay, on your...
I got it. I
Okay,
think.
would you have it
Did
set
that
to like
work?
private rolls?
No.
That was another natural 20, though.
Another 20.
So on your above your chat box, do you
Wow.
have it set to public rolls?
Yeah, I do. Here, let me try, no, that's not gonna work.
Here, somebody else try and roll something real quick.
All right.
Just like a skill check. Yeah.
Oh, like a skill check. Okay, sorry.
No, yeah, you're good.
Do that big ol' insight roll.
Yeah.
Mine
Does
works.
this work?
Yeah, I got mine going.
Guess
Here, let
Poe
me
just
let me
sucks.
let me
Wait,
originally
now.
that I disconnected from the server
Can I delete
Oh.
that acrobatics roll? That was disgusting.
Yeah, here.
during this time.
Delete
Poe just stares very into.
it. Yeah, Poe's just trying to get a read of the situation.
Okay.
Dude, yeah, that's
I've
more like it.
rejoined.
There we go.
I see the new rules. So 1 sec.
Oh, so you weren't seeing any of those rolls? Yeah.
None of them.
There we go. Okay, 17 though.
Hey!
I think a 12 is actually what you rolled first anyway. So it works out. 'Twas fate. So you can see as she's staring at you, she's very neutral, very, very hard to read. The one thing you do gather, Poe, is while you're not sure if you can trust her, just from looking at her, there is a lot of age and wisdom to those eyes. So you have a feeling she's probably telling the truth, especially from whatever was moving through those trees was large enough to knock them down. And these are not small trees. It takes a lot of force and a lot of effort. So you're inclined to believe that she could protect you. You just don't know. It's hard to get a read exactly what her intentions are.
Okay. Poe's gonna nod and look around and do we have everybody? Are we missing Lucius?
I think Lucius left already, right?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
right.
he's already gone.
It's been
Um,
2 weeks. I
Yeah.
forgot if he actually left or not.
Yep. Him and
Okay.
old Nalthian are both gone.
All right, then I'm gonna look to Ashima and
Who needs dark elves?
Ashima will just, let's say, I know we can trust this woman. And he'll shrug and say, evil entities usually don't cast beams of light. Particularly not dark ones.
You know, I've noticed that. Yeah.
you don't work for the Dark One, do you?
No, quite the opposite, in fact. Please, you'll want to get close to me, as the cold snap will be happening any minute now, and I recommend that you're near warmth.
Desmond waddles really quickly over to her.
Okay.
Yeah, I do too.
All right. So everybody sort of gathers around her. You can see that she, there's a small branch on the ground near her, and she sort of picks it up, brushes off the snow, and you can see her sort of flick her wrist, and you can see that these vines just begin to grow out of it, and the stick continues to grow and grow and grow until it's a full-size staff, with different petals blooming over it, of white and gold and green. And then a small gem appears at the top, and from the top there is this dome that covers her and all of you, shrouding all of you in this warmth. It's still a little chilly in here, but you can see that as soon as she does that, some of the snow around you begins to melt on the ground, and she begins to walk. And only after a few steps after the dome has finished, you can hear this noise that sounds like ice snapping and air cracking. And there is this popping noise that you can hear, this sharp crashing and cracking noise that just fills the area for a solid 5 minutes, that almost sounds like gunfire, or somebody breaking glass over and over and over again. And as all of you are sort of looking around, like wondering what's happening, the witch says, "There is no need to worry. It is merely the sap in the trees that freezes nightly and shatters. There is nothing to be afraid of, especially now that you're with me." And she continues to walk. So, with that, all of you continue walking for a while, following her, doing what she needs you to do, until eventually you do arrive at what looks to be a small hut. It took you about a half an hour, maybe. Maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes to get there of walking, and you can see that the ice every once in a while forms and sort of crystallizes on the dome, but eventually it kind of melts and falls off. But then eventually you do get to her house. A small little shack hut, and you can see that the shack has a very similar effect around it, where it has this dome sprawling from the top of the roof to sort of coat the area in greens and golds and blues and whites. Flowers growing at a time when they really should not be. So, having arrived, she will gesture forward towards the hut and take all of you inside. So, sorry, I just want to get this here. There we go. There we go. Okay. So with that, boom. She brings you all inside. There we go. All right. So all of you can see the shack. You can see different small bits and pieces of statues, cliffside, the trees, all of the snow. But as she welcomes all of you inside, there is an even brighter bit of warmth that hits you entering her shack. So with that, she taps the staff onto the ground, and it turns back into the twig, and she tucks it away into a small satchel and then gestures her hand out and says, "Please, take a seat, and I will be back in a moment." As she heads across the room and down a set of stairs to beneath the house. leaving you all there just for a moment.
Is there anything cool in her house?
Desmond, please.
Honestly, no. It seems fairly bare bones. I mean, there are cooking utensils and pots and pans. There also is what looks to be some type of very rudimentary alchemy table made for just refining natural ingredients into pastes, and then from there refining them to liquids. But other than that, there's no, shiny mask of gold that says "Please steal me." Nothing like that.
How about any
Is there like a
containers or
bookshelf
doors
that
with
might?
locks on
Yeah.
it?
Is anything
Throw me a
locked?
bone, Joe. Throw me a bone.
Books in here, no, no.
I mean,
Seems-
like.
Desmond,
I'll be
please.
done.
All right.
Yeah. Cecily is just gonna lean down in her chair and be holding her head and just. Yeah. This was supposed to be sleeping. How much more can happen? Like, what even. Is, like, every rock gonna turn into fucking birds now? Like, what is. And she just slams her head into the table. Perhaps not meaning to have done it that hard, but she kind of just.
Desmond will gently rub her back, trying to comfort her.
Bianca is not looking at anyone. She's kind of closed off, feeling a little ashamed, a bit.
Bianca.
Mm-hmm.
What was that thing out there? What happened?
That was Isin. I didn't think any of that was going to happen. I never knew it. Do any of you remember Rolius way back in Summer's Rest? I don't really remember if you guys met her or not.
Wait, hold on. Out of character really quick. Joe,
Yes.
Rolius totally came to Poe's dad's shop.
Oh,
Didn't
yeah.
they?
Uh-huh.
And would I have... If I did not... I can't remember if we met her in Summer's Rest. But if we hadn't, would I have remembered her name?
Oh, yeah. She was a customer who came and she ordered such an odd specialty item.
That's right. That was part of the reason why I looked so closely at Bianca's swords at first, because I was trying to make a connection, but no. Anyways, back to the game. What did... Wait, that name.
He's a green tiefling. Wore kind of clothes
No.
not from the area.
She was a customer for my dad and me.
Well,
How do you... What's your connection with her?
I thought she was my friend. I dreamed for a long time of being able to do something about my lineage, because obviously it's has demon connection, and I thought that meeting her was going to be like out of the stories that I read of these heroes. She showed me this book. She's going to pull out the Blood Hunter book. And basically, said that I had this capability and that I could one day take care of the devil that made me who I am. And that's all I ever wanted from a young age, was to like do something about that. Ever since I found out that that's why I was a tiefling, it's not just like chance or like genetic, it's because of an actual connection that happened. And she is the reason I'm a blood hunter. So I could hunt down my devil, who is Isin. But Rolius was always kind of, I don't know, I always felt like smooth talk too far into things I didn't really want to do. She even tried to take me down this blood hunter path that felt wrong. So I tried to rework everything and do it my own way. And then, I don't know, with the Dark One calling me the thrall of Isin, and then this Eurydice person who's apparently hunting me down because I'm the thrall of Isin, it was really starting to get to me and get me worried that maybe what I was doing wasn't the right thing. So, frustratedly, I called out to her, and I knew I could have this like connection with her, that she kind of was beyond just humanoid. She could do things, and which didn't always make sense to me either, but her explanation made sense at the time, and of course it doesn't actually make sense now. It's just like when talking to her, you just get wrapped up in kind of just this beautiful fluff that she says, and you just want to believe it. Well, I got really angry with her, and then she got really angry with me. And she's not Rolius. They're Isin, and they've been Isin the whole time.
Wow. Wow, these situations don't get any smaller. One thing's for sure, though. You're just as much a thrall of Isin as we are servants for the Dark One. I think we all kind of feel a little used by forces that we would never want to be used by. I don't know.
I admire you being so open and honest in a stranger's home. As you can see, the Witch of the Woods is just now walking back up the stairs. If I can offer one piece of advice in the future, however, perhaps know that you can trust that person entirely. The things you talk about are not for the faint of heart. And the Dark One has eyes and ears everywhere.
Yeah, we've caught on to that.
Just seems like we never have enough time to have these conversations before even bigger situations happen to us.
Those who are thrust into situations like your own typically never do. From one thing to another is the fate of those who fight against the Dark One. A fate all of you have seemingly signed yourselves up for, whether willingly or unwillingly. It seems as though you are here now.
Earlier, you asked us
Okay.
why we were here, and that we were out of sorts. Are we
Very out of
expected to?
sorts.
Are we expected to be somewhere? Are we supposed to be somewhere else?
You are especially not supposed to be here. But all of you are not supposed to be here. Not exactly sure when you're supposed to be, but it's not now. Definitely not now.
So it's not so much a question of location,
Correct.
but
You see, many druids tend to many different gardens. Some choose to hide in the mountains and appease the Mother Elwyn as to not send down sheets of snow upon small villages. Some sit in the fiery forests of the Rufficent Grove or of Isanalor, praying to Kossuth that the flame may not consume them unless it is to renew. Some sit in temples underneath the water, praying to Estitia, and some sit atop the mountains, praying to the winds, to Arcadia. But there is another garden that few and far between druids maintain, and that is time. Time in and of itself is a garden that must be cared for greatly, trimmed and pruned when unnecessary weeds grow. That is what I am. I see when things are out of place, and I try and set them right. The 5 of you, gesturing to everyone but Poe, are 4 or 5 days incorrect. You, looking to you, Poe, I do not know how wrong you are, but 100-200 years, maybe?
What? I'm going to kind of look at everyone else. What? I don't understand.
I do not either. You see, within our cosmic universe, there are entities that patrol time. Whenever something is extremely out of place, there are measures that are enacted to fix it. Constructs that represent law and order, not just in the sense that you are used to, but also in the cosmic sense. Either one, you have just arrived in this place in time, and they have not yet found you, or you have been here for a long time, and something is hiding you from them.
I mean, I'm gonna kind of, those just gonna kind of laugh and look at like, I'm from Water's Wake. You know,
You
I
might
mean,
have grown up in Water's Wake, but you are not from there, boy. You are not.
just gonna kind of sit back and shake his head and look at the table.
If I were to make a guess as to where your lineage is located, there are signs It's harder to see due to your genasi nature. But the undertones of your skin, the structure of your build, and your intonation of speech patterns, I would guess Thrall. You are definitely not of the stock of Water's Wake. Or even Belliclara, for that matter. You are as much from Water's Wake as she is, pointing down to Cecily.
But I'm not 200 years old, right?
No, you are not.
Oh, God. Okay, good. Okay, so... What the fuck do we do with that?
Are we weeds in this?
What is a weed but an herb in a foreign garden? And Ashima will kind of give the witch a kind of look.
Some weeds can prove to be useful. Some weeds are not.
Oh.
I give you one chance to explain to me how you ended up in this time. And from that, I will determine if you're a useful weed or if you need to be pruned. Don't spare any detail. Even the smallest of details could change my decision.
Guess we can start with the easy one. We're kind of back from the future. Well, from the past to the future to now. We had a run-in with the Dark One. And we found, well, Keothi knows more about the path we took to the future. I don't know if you're familiar with how Goliath's I don't know, Keothi
Yes, I am well aware of how Goliaths operate and how they wander, at least wandered, through the realms. Yes, through the waystones to the realm between. You see, we had walked through, after being in a ruin to my people in the nation of Belliclara. The ruins of the Kalukatho. Yes. Yes. We wandered through the ruins. We found many connections to the Dark One and to the destruction of those people who existed there. And we were cornered, so we went through the stone. And we wandered for a long time. And then Ashima here had an idea to let the realm between guide us. So we did. And it guided us. And it took us to another waystone that led us to the future. You can see her reflect for a moment and nod for one of you to continue on. She does gesture her hand back, and you can see small, what look to be like horn cups sort of jump down off of the shelves and move over and climb up the table and place themselves in front of you. And she gestures her hand again, and the cups just begin to fill with this golden, frothy liquid.
Is it alcoholic?
No.
That's good. Okay. Yeah, Cecily will take a sip of it and just... okay, that's better.
Yeah, rightfully so. I mean, it is. It almost tastes like a warm cider, but it is extra refreshing. Where you almost feel like
Nice.
the breathing that you can achieve is so much deeper and so much cleaner from drinking this liquid.
Thank you. Once we got to the future, I guess we didn't really know exactly where we were or when we were. It's just a wasteland. And we found a skull in the distance. It seemed to be that of a dragon, but a little different. Once we walked to it, we found this man, but he was alone. And near where we found him, we found all of our graves. At least graves with our names on them. And, well, Nelfian told us
Nelfian.
that that was his name.
Proceed.
He told us a little bit about what happened and how he's read about us. And he told us that basically that we could prevent that from happening. And he told us how, but I don't know. I don't really like reflecting on it. If someone else should continue.
I think that's about all there is to say.
Well, other than we went through the Waystone again to get back and let it guide us again, and this is where we popped up.
Yes. But as far as that goes, we're not entirely sure at first where, or still not when, entirely we are.
Well, then, I think that has answered all of my questions, aside from one. What did Nalfian tell you to do? You said that he told you a list of things that led to this catastrophic future.
You know, you did just tell us not to go spilling all of our business in strangers' houses. So why should we tell you all that? Considering you're probably capable of bending time to your will?
Just because I have
He has-
the ability to do so does not mean I have the desire to do so.
And she has offered us hospitality.
If I truly was a cruel and vicious woman, I wouldn't need to ask. I have the power within me to take all I want and desire. But I don't want to. At the end of the day, you are people. And it seems as though the Weave has chosen a very specific path for all of you. You said it let it lead you. The Weave, the pattern, bends to all of you, takes you where you need to go. Do you not think it is at all convenient that in the same span of time where you were thrust into the future and then thrust back, you were put upon my doorstep? That is too convenient to be chance. That is fate.
Perhaps we should let her know then. I mean, if this is to help you decide whether or not we're useful or not, this is the information we got from the future.
If
It's
it
the reason why we're back, so might be the only thing that makes us useful here.
I can tell all of you now that if it eases your minds at all, the Weave, the pattern puts you here. I do not have any control over what the Weave does, as no one should. If the Weave puts you here, it is not my responsibility to take you away. If anything, it is just my responsibility to help guide you in the right path. And she gives a soft smile.
Well, all right. Yeah, there's 4 things, right? Okay. I gave myself words to remember them. Egg, flame, 13, Nalfian. Someone fill in the blanks for me. I'm tired.
Those are very good mnemonic devices.
Yeah.
He let us know that those things were all part of the downfall into like the world or time's end. The war that's happening because of the stolen egg. The next thing was a flame in Brahmsgrove that a young girl named Maya is looking for. Then the return of the Dark One's 13 thralls. And the Nalfian shadow, which in this time period is just his shadow, but I guess it could potentially take over him. So he didn't really tell us to do anything, but he told us what brought us to the world's end, I guess.
Well, that is quite the list of things. So then, I don't know what time you originally had come from, but all of you should know the heist of Brahmsgrove has already happened. War ravages the entire central Salamander, and within the next month or so, not only will Otarashi and Jormungandr be involved, but there is a very good chance that the nation of Thrall and even Loshar could be involved. I've heard nothing of these 13 recently. I try to keep my eyes and ears as open as I can, but sadly I am bound here. My vision does not extend as far as I wish it did. This light you speak of, this light is buried within the mountains south of Bromsgrove. Originally it was called the Light of Palor, as that city was built in honor of him. But truthfully, that city, that mountain range is home to the first flame. The first flame of Rotun. The antithesis to Ritan, or as all of you call him, the Dark One.
Oh. Oh, so there is a light one.
There
I
is.
mean, that just makes sense. But the light one is just a flame right now?
Rotun takes many forms and shapes, but their power is tethered to that flame. Back at the creation of everything, before Bahamut and Tiamat, there was only light and dark. Rotun gave their power, quite a bit of it, to allow the egg to hatch that created Bahamut, Tiamat. Sacrificing this power, Rotun was unable to fight Ritan, the Dark One, as well as they would have liked to. So, they began to recruit, to share this message of the power of light over darkness, and eventually prevailed, locking the Dark One outside of reality, beyond the weave, unable to alter or change anything. At least that's how things should have been. There are those who have the ability to manipulate the weave, and those who are untrained in these abilities may cause tears. And even the smallest tear could allow the Dark One to make its way in to existence. And it seems as though that is exactly what's happening. So it seems as though there are two things that all of you need to do. You need to prevent this heist from ever happening, and you need to stop that girl Maya from destroying that flame. If that flame is destroyed, there is nothing stopping the 13 from returning and breaking Eridane. Not even my magics can withstand the brunt of all of them.
And you're saying if the Dark One gets through, then they're going to be as powerful as they were back then.
when they
Because
were
the Light One never fought them.
correct. They will be half of everything. Half of existence of we as we know it will be darkness. And if Ritan gets what it wants, everything will be him. There will be no light, no dark, just them.
Well, fuck. Okay. So I have another question. And it's the same as the first one I asked a few minutes ago. What the fuck are we supposed to do with that?
You said we have to prevent that heist from ever happening,
Correct?
but also that it's happened in this timeline. Do you mean to send us back?
Sadly, that is a power that I do not possess, but I do know of a place that you can go where that can be achieved. Long ago, when the members of my order believed it was best to have a firm grasp on the timelines, to move in and out, to find mistakes and fix them, there were temples that we would go to that would allow us to pick a moment in time and change them. Alter them to fit what the weave intended, not what people wanted, entities wanted. Sadly, there are few members of my order left. The Crow Lord of Fjardeleth saw that we caused him too many issues, so he did what he needed to do to take control of those areas, prevent them from being used. In the northernmost island of the Fractured Peninsula, there you will find the temple. I can give you my keystone. I can charge it before you leave, so when you get there, all you need to do is have one person who is magically inclined channel the stone into the monument, and you will be transported back. 2 days before the heist. Give you time to find who did it and how you can stop it.
Well, shit. I mean, if I did Mr. Spook's book, I guess I can do that. And then, do we get back, or are we stuck? Once we're done.
At that point, I suppose it is up to the weave. I do not know of a way for you to get back, aside from going from Bromsgrove back to that temple. But at that point, you'll have no keystone, so I do not know.
The universe will provide.
Well, really, we'll just have more time to go find Maya and protect the flame then if we're going back.
Yeah, I guess.
My only concern is this flame. I didn't see it when I was in Bromscroft traveling with the companions that I arrived in Belliclara with. But I did have a rather nasty encounter with the Children of the Light. They swear to protect the flame and fight in the name of the Light One, but they were willing to chastise anyone who gave them the wrong look. They took me for an imposter, someone who was willing to sell secrets to the Dark One. And Bjorn didn't like that, and there was a bit of a fight. And, well, we ended up leaving Bromsgrove earlier than we intended. I don't know if you know a way to circumvent them or prevent interaction with them, but it does not seem like they would be willing to aid us in this, from what I know at least. See the witch sighs. Sadly, I suppose that is a bridge you'll have to cross when you get there. As I said, my vision does not extend far beyond the realms of Jormungandry, and I am unable to travel past the Council of Yggdrasil. I do what I can for these people, but what lies beyond those borders? My knowledge is limited.
Hey, Joe, I have a question.
You do? What is the question?
So, based off when we heard about the heist and when we became outlaws, will we, going back in time, still be outlaws? But that's technically in Belliclara, but I don't know if that'd help a lot of things in Bromsgrove either. Is that true?
That is true. Yeah, you guys would have just became outlaws 2 days before the heist.
I don't think they're putting wanted posters all the way that far north, you know?
Yeah, also, since Bromsgrom is its own separate city-state, that wouldn't hold a lot of sway there. If you happen to, you know, if, like, it would be bad if you went back and fixed it, and then you had no way back, so you went to Belliclara. That might be an issue.
Okay.
Right. It's also going to be fun if there's, like, one person who puts together the fact that we became outlaws in the south and stopped the heist in the north at the same time. That would be interesting.
We're special.
Identity theft.
Okay. I'm not going to worry about that then too much.
Okay.
So, I don't really know what a Jormungandry or a Yggdrasil or a Fractured Peninsula is. So how far do we need to go?
Well, here. And she conjures what looks to be a small map on the table for Jormungandry. So let me go ahead and pull everybody here. Boom. Woo! So, here we go, Jormungandry. Is anybody else hearing static? Is that just me?
Yeah, I'm hearing
I'm
something.
hearing a little bit.
I know, I was trying to figure out where that was coming from.
Just a bit of white noise.
Nope, it's still there.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's snow. Oh well.
It's not on.
Snowstorm.
Weird.
Oh, just went away. That's weird. Okay. Well, whatever. All right. So, anyway.
We shared it.
Yeah, we started talking about it. It was like, oh, how dare you? Okay. So, she reaches out and she points down right north of, or right around Old Giant's Basin. So, right around here. And says, this
Okay.
is currently where you all are. Old Giant's Basin. That way south, there is a small fishing village, and that way to the east, you'll find a mining town. You all need to head all the way, going all the way up the Fractured Peninsula, past Fractured Peninsula, past Tyr's Temple, to here. At the very, very, very tip top of the map.
Okay. That's like off the map. That's not on the map at all.
Fuck.
Now,
Would it be... Sorry.
my powers are limited in a way. I am restricted to Yggdrasil. I have been cursed by the Crow Lord, and I am no longer allowed to leave past those borders. So, I could get all of you as close to the Fractured Peninsula as I could. Past Old Giant's Basin, past the Hearthstone to the base of the Fractured Peninsula. Or I could get you to the Annex near Albiord. But those are your two options.
What is the Annex?
Well, the Annex is an area that belongs to the Council of Yggdrasil. But, as you can see from the terrain here, gesturing towards the cliff sides and the rivers, there is no direct land path or even convenient sea travel to the rest of the Council. So typically what most have to do, if they are going from Albiord to any of the other cities, is they have to leave Albiord, around, going underneath the land bridges, and then back in towards the capital of Rogthankar. So you tend to find a very high flux of those who call the Fractured Peninsula home. Now, whether it be by land or by sea, it will take a while. By sea, it's more dangerous, but you'll get there faster. By land, it will be slower, but less likely you'll be stopped by pirates. There are dangers on the Fractured Peninsula, I will say, but not nearly as frequent as the Shattered Shields.
If we're going back in time, it shouldn't matter if we take the long way, should it?
That's what I was thinking.
I suppose not.
Pretty familiar with navigating on land too. I've never traveled on boat, so and I think the only one of us who has is probably Ashima, right? And Keothi.
Yeah.
I will say this one in your group here, gesturing towards Poe. Although, even if he may not have traveled, he does have a natural affinity for the sea. But, as I said, a natural affinity for water won't help against cannon fire.
Never really.
I have a thing, I guess. Keo, do you still have to go back to your people and talk about the oath? I mean, I know you said you were gonna, but a lot of fucking shit happened, so...
I... I think that what is more important now is this. Plus, if it is true what the Dark One said, then my allegiance is not to Anakalathai, it is to Kalakatho. And that means my allegiance is to all of you.
Oh. Hey, wait, we can ask this lady if the stuff was true, right? I mean, she might know. Cecily,
Stuff.
she'll just kind of look at her and just... Yeah, so... The Dark One called us stuff. Called Ashima a shoe. I don't know what that was about, but...
That much is correct. No need to ask on that one.
You're a shoe?
It was an insult that cut very deeply.
Oh.
It was not intended to be, I imagine, a revelation. More something that meant to cut me and slight me. I will not pretend it did not fully succeed.
I don't gotta ask about mine either. I got all my answers.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll ask about mine, I guess. People keep saying I'm this, old blood thing. Which... I don't know. I don't know what that explains, I guess. I mean, I used to pretend I was blind so I could get money. Are my eyes like this because of the old blood? Do I have magic because of the old blood? Am I the old blood? Like, fuck, I don't know. What is it?
If it is true, and I believe it to be, what it means is trouble. Trouble!
It means trouble.
It means trouble. That's right. Trouble right here in River City.
Please, oh my God.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pockets of the table. Pockets that make the difference. Between a gentleman and a bum.
What? Okay. All right. If it is true, and I believe that it is, there are those who are tied to Jormungandr, who are tied to the origin of this once united and still beautiful nation. Those who either have a connection to Vasi, the embodiment of the Vanir. Or to Asiri, the embodiment of the Aesir. Whatever your connection is, those eyes of slate symbolize a connection that hasn't been made yet. Long, 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 long ago, my eyes were slate as well. I found my connection to nature. I embraced it and I trusted it. My eyes began to glow gold. I found my purpose. It's true that your eyes may just be gray. A gift from your mother or father. They are beautiful eyes. But I have a feeling that one day they will change. Whenever you find whatever that purpose is.
Oh, that was... Okay. Keep that in mind, I guess. Anyone else? Desmond, Kyo, Poe, anybody?
Desmond kind of just wraps his arms around his knees, and shakes his head.
I feel as though, regardless of what the truth may be, my clan is not what's important to me anymore. Then that leaves you, boy who's lost in time. You can see Poe, she's just kind of looking you up and down, trying to get a read on you. I do want to ask, Evan, unless you're just disappeared and your mic's not working, but I do want to know how is Poe feeling right now? Uh-oh, Evan, we can't hear you. I thought you were pausing for dramatic effect, but it just turns out that we couldn't hear you.
Evan is lost in time as well.
Well, I thought of a question, so maybe we can retcon that and Bianca can pipe up and ask hers while Evan figures out his crap.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, wait.
Ah!
Oh, nope.
Oh, no, he's gone again! Oh, there he is. Okay, where he's back. It's all good. Oh, that's so
Hello?
funny.
Hello!
Hey, there he is.
He's here.
Jeez.
Well, who wants to go first now? I don't
All right,
care.
we'll just keep it going here because this is the path we've gone. All right.
Okay. Wait,
So-
for me or
Is it for Bianca?
For Poe.
Okay.
So, Evan, did you hear what I was saying before?
She
Oh,
said,
God!
I've been trying to get things working. Things have been cutting out since my computer kept restarting before this, but
Okay.
I think I got the gist of it. But
Yeah, because
um,
Cecily said the thing about, like, does anybody have any questions? And then she was like, what about you, boy lost in time? And then I asked you, how is Poe feeling right now? Like, what?
oh right, I did
What-
start the okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I-
Got it.
Well, I guess I been trying to think about what you said, and I mean, you heard how we got back here. And that's weird enough, but it still doesn't make sense to me that you saying that I'm from 100, 200 years ago from now. I don't feel lost in time. I don't. But I guess. I honestly don't know what to think. But I'm here. And I'm hoping it's not for some reason that would make me a weed. Spent my entire life trying to do the right thing so far, so I hope that's earned my stay. While I'm here, I'm gonna stick with my friends and keep doing the right thing. I don't think that you have the answers to the questions I might have about that, and I obviously don't have the answers for the questions you may have. But I guess my life's been filled with questions about who I really am, and if I am what I think I am, and I don't know, it's but I'm with you guys, and he's gonna look at all you guys. By being with you guys, I found more meaning and purpose than I ever had just being in a Noah might be one thing, but being your guys' friend and doing the things that we've done is another. So, if I am lost in time, better make the most of it. So, I don't know. That was kind of a lot. I didn't mean to. I just really hope I'm not a weed.
No. It seems as though you are not. And it seems as though whatever has taken you out of where you were from and put you here seems as though it has taken a great deal of care to make sure you are. It's not up to me, then, to tell you you don't belong. Fate, the pattern, the weave, has put you here. And here is where you will stay.
Somebody explain just what the hell the weave is to me. I've heard like 5 people say something about it now, and I have no clue what anyone's ever talking about.
Simply put, the weave is all of existence and the magic that binds it all together. It is hard to comprehend. Like a drawing or a painting trying to comprehend a 3D shape. To it, it makes no sense. That extra dimension, that extra layer, is incomprehensible. So if you do not understand the weave, do not worry, but trust that the weave will always put you on the right path.
I'll just nod.
I did think of a question,
Of course.
and I don't know if you would know, which is fine. But it was my grandparents that made the deal with Issen. I don't know which of my grandparents. My parents tried to keep that as vague as possible. And Issen said that they offered me as his thrall, which hurt, of course. But I guess I want to know what happened and why they made that deal, if you do know. And which grandparents.
You can see her think for a moment. And while Joe waits for a page to load.
That's fair.
Yeah. Because I just want to be sure of something before I say yes or no. Maybe if it'll load here. There we go. There is one thing I could try. I do not know specifically of Issen, other than I could tell that there was a dark presence near here. I will see what I can learn. I need 10 minutes, and after 10 minutes, I may not be able to tell you what you want to know, but I'll at least be able to tell you 3 things of some importance about Issen.
That would be more than helpful.
She nods, and you can see her stand and sit in the middle of the room, and you can see her pulling out different chalks and the like herbs from her pouch, and just begins tracing on the ground around her these different runes, sprinkling different clusters of leaves and flower petals all around her. A truly artful display. She inhales and exhales deeply, and all of the petals and herbs begin to float and slowly begin to burn, letting out this wonderful aroma of natural smells into the room. The runes around her begin to glow, and you can see her gasp 3 times for air. And eventually, the herbs and the herbs and flowers begin to fade, completely burnt. The runes dissipate off the ground. She exhales. Shakes her head. She stands, and she looks at you, Bianca. One thing is the first, by far the most important. Something I'm sure that you must already have put together. Issen, they themselves are a servant of the Dark One. They have a connection to that darkness, and they wish to use it to their own advantage. The reason they have allied themselves with this darkness is because they wish to overthrow the current Lord of the Nine Hells, Asmodeus. But this is the third and most important thing to you. They know they are not strong enough to do it. They need a worthy champion to replace them. And the only way to claim the titles that Devil has is to slay it in combat. I'm assuming then Issen wished to grow you to what it wanted to be, challenge you, have you kill them in a fair fight, so then you could kill Asmodeus and serve the Dark One.
Bianca's just gonna like take that in. So even if I were to get rid of Issen, I would still be his champion. Like, no matter what.
There are great magics that are possessed by only the most powerful entities that exist in these realms. They have the power to undo things like that. But without the aid from them, without a wish, no. Your soul was taken before you even had a chance to protest. But now you know. Now you can fight back. And even if you cannot cast away the lineage you have, you can at least make sure that this champion of Issen is the last.
She's just not gonna respond. She's just gonna take that in, not looking at anybody.
Okay. Well, this was fun, but I was in the middle of sleeping. So, should we do that before we decide how we're moving on?
Yes. Rest. Go beneath the house, and you'll find beds and blankets and pillows ready for you. Rest now, and in the morning we'll determine where you'll go. In the meantime, I will be heading towards the Traveler's Respite to inform them there that you are safe and nothing of ill has happened to you.
Cool. Alright. Well, if anyone wants to bother me, don't. I'm going to bed. And Cecily will get right to that.
Okay, sounds good. So, with that, you can see that she pulls out that same twig, does the same thing, and heads out the door. So with that, the 6 of you are left to your own devices in this simple shack. It's warm, it's comfortable, and unless there's anything anybody wants to do, you can all head straight to bed.
I don't think I have anything of note that she's gonna do, so yeah.
No, we need our rest.
Okay. Alrighty.
Can I look around for some, like, charcoal and incense that might be around this witch's cabin?
Yeah, it'd be easy enough to find.
I'm gonna steal some from her. Or if she's still here, I'll ask her if I can have some, but if she left already...
No, yeah, I
I'm
mean,
just...
by the time you go to do that, she would say, yes, please help yourself. Anything that helps you in your journey.
Thank you. And while everybody else is asleep, I'm going to bring Maggie back to life.
Okay. So you reconjure her, and with that, as soon as you finish casting the spell, you can see that small skunk form return as the eyes open wide, and you can just see if a skunk could smile, Maggie is.
I will hug her, and then we will sleep.
Makes a whole bunch of purring skunk noises. Normal skunks I don't think purr, but this one does.
Oh,
So, with that...
would die for this skunk.
Well, you almost did.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
as all of you head to sleep, ready and anxious for the decision you need to make in the morning, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break right there. So we'll be back in 5. I'm saying it right now. We'll be back on at 7:32 Central Standard Time, if not before then. So I'm going to go get some food, some snacks. Please go get some snacks. Eat, hydrate, treat yourself. And we'll be back in a little bit. Bow. Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm sorry I lied. I was hungry and I made a sandwich. I hope you can find in your heart to forgive me. So,
I will one day.
one day.
Yeah.
Alright. If you say so. So, let's go ahead and dive right back in. We lost time. We don't need to roll that intro again. Let's just let's hop in to the session. So, picking up where we left off, the group had made their way with this Witch of the Woods to her cabin. And boy, did they learn a lot. A lot. Cecily received answers on what the Old Blood is. A connection that people from Yggdrasil or from Jormungandr in general can have to magic and to the weave. A connection that they have to something that, when is awakened, that color in their eyes changes. Also, they learned of Issen and Bianca's connection to him, and they learned more about him. They learned that he is not only a thrall of the Dark One, a servant to him, but also that he is a powerful devil in the Nine Hells and wished to use Bianca to take over for him, to take his place so that she may kill Asmodeus and serve the Dark One in his stead, trying to create the perfect warrior, somebody who could kill at all costs. Sadly, it doesn't seem like that's working out too well for Issen right now. But there's still time left. Who knows? That got really casual there for a hot second. Sorry, I'll go back to narrator voice. I didn't mean to offend anybody. So, from there, they also learned of a solution to their problem. They told the Witch of the Woods everything they knew about traveling forward in time, everything they heard, everything old Malthian told them, and everything that had happened to them thus far. Everything that they thought was relevant, at least. And she gave them a solution. Being a druid of time, members of her order, long ago, would use temples within the fractured peninsula to transport themselves to and fro through the timelines, going back into the past or into the future to try and fix things, to try and prevent them from ever happening, or if a servant of evil or even of good tried to influence time one way or another, they would stop it and undo it, so the timeline could act out itself, letting the weave carve the path. With the number in her orders dwindled to just her, she's unable to do that, and she has no more access to any of those temples. She's bound to Yggdrasil. But that does give you all an opportunity to fix this. While you had no hand or no part in the heist of Brahmsgrove, you all at least can try and stop it. She gave you the location of one of the temples, and she promised to give you a keystone that would allow you to activate the temple to travel through time to stop the heist of Brahmsgrove. But before you can get to that temple, you need to travel there. Before you can get to Brahmsgrove, you need to find the temple, and you need to get there. So that leaves all of you with one choice: to travel by sea or to travel by land. Unsure of what to do and what action to take, you head to sleep to think on it and hope in the morning you can come to a decision. So with that, we will go ahead and advance it to dawn on the 10th of Winter Court, the 10th of December. It's a Tuesday, for those curious. And with that, all of you wake up in the morning. The cold snap has finally gone away from the temperatures in the negative 50s, negative 40s Fahrenheit. I don't have my conversion chart open. F to C. Minus 50. There you go. Minus 45 degrees Celsius. For those of you playing.
Oh my fuck.
Yeah.
Wait, say that one more time?
So, it was last night during the cold snap about negative 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about negative 45 degrees Celsius. It was so
Yeah.
low that they're almost balancing out now.
Yup.
That's always a bad sign. So, all of you luckily avoided that. And now you wake up. It's a cold, but luckily not absolutely terrible freezing, 19 degrees Fahrenheit, or -7 degrees Celsius. You wake up in the morning. Luckily, the witch's abode is comfortable and warm. You wake up to face one another, and you can smell what seems to be fresh cooked chicken, ham, eggs, and other breakfast foods waiting for you upstairs. So, as all of you begin to stir and begin to wake,
Poe was up early, and he's at the table eating quietly.
Okay. So before the rest of you get upstairs, Poe, if you would have woken up early, the witch, as she's sort of gesturing her hands to have the different magical hands cook the different things while she's working on cooking something else in front of her, she looks back at you every once in a while and says, "That is quite a sword you have there."
Oh. Yeah, it is. He's gonna pull it out and just kind of look at it, kind of distract himself from his thoughts for a moment. My father would have loved this.
Who was your father? Tell me about him.
Well, he was a blacksmith in Waterswake. In Anoa, where, yeah. You know, I'm still,
And Noah.
believe he was. You know, I keep getting different things told to me. I was raised believing he was so that I am. Then I was told that didn't make any sense. That perhaps the last Anoa died long ago, so then that caused a lot of confusion. And then, you know, signs keep swaying me back and forth, and now that I've been told that I'm lost in time, am I even descendant of my father? Did he get brought through time? I don't know. It's questions I wish I could ask him. Things I wonder if he was waiting to tell me. But he's grown sick, so
Do you
I think
want
those memories are lost from him. I'm sorry.
It's all right. You are young and confused. Do you want to ask him? I have that power. If you wish to speak to him, I can grant you that ability for a short time.
You can?
I can.
think I've put it off long enough. I don't even know when the next time I'll be in Waterswake. Kind of forgotten how badly I've wanted to see him and talk to him, so
Well,
Do you think I should?
What does your heart tell you, Poe?
I think it's about time I do talk to him.
And I would agree with you. You can see she reaches out towards your hand and squeezes it. And with that squeeze, you can see her eyes glow bright gold. Her tattoos glow green. And you begin to fade a little. You open your eyes and you are in a temple. Greco-Roman architecture all around you. Tall porcelain, marble, and opal statues surrounding you. A visage that's very familiar to you. The halls of the Anoa. Something you saw many, many, many months ago.
Is this am I in a large, is there like a path leading somewhere that I could follow?
Yeah. It leads down a long corridor with many, many, many statues to your left and right, leading further and further and further. As you continue to walk down the pathway, eventually looking up at those statues, you see an elderly, lithe frame, a wispy white beard, fading wispy white hair, a leather apron, leather gloves, a hammer in his hand. You see your father, Poe, Uba Enoa. You see his old eyes staring up at one of the statues. Yes. Protect
Dad?
the child. Protect the child. Teach him the ways.
Dad,
Who's you?
me, Puasa.
Oh, a nice strong man, look like you are. You remind me of my son. Boy I raised. You look a lot like him.
Could you tell me more about your son?
Oh yes, my son was a good boy. He always did what he was told. He listened. Best son a father could ever ask for, truly. He did run away one day. He left a note, but I can't remember what it said.
What do you think he's up to?
Well, I'm sure great things. Poe was a good boy, smart boy, strong. I just wish I could have seen him one last time.
I'm sure he wishes he could see you too. I'm sure you were the best father to him. Do you think your son would belong in a place like this? It's one of these statues of all these other great people.
That's what she told me. She told me if I raised the boy, if I taught him the ways of the Anoa, not only would he be erected in these halls with his lineage, but I would have an honorary spot here as well. Even in death, the Anoa live on.
Dad, who...
Poe? Poe, is that... my boy? Poe, it's you.
Dad,
I'm sorry. Who are you? Raise the child. Teach him the ways. Raise the child. Oh. What is going on? And you can see him rub his eyes, pushing away tears. Well, that's odd. Oh, hello there. It's good to meet you.
it's good to meet you too. I suppose I should leave you to be with these awesome statues, and especially this one. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to intrude.
Oh, you're not intruding. You see, this right here is Tiaraki Anoa. A brave warrior. Fought for the liberation and the restoration of the Republic of Thorol. Without him, that nation would have fallen, consumed by the jungle around it. But thanks
Seem
to him
to
and the sacrifice he made, the nation lived on.
You seem to know a lot about the Anoa.
Oh, yes. I spent much of my life studying them. I tried to know everything I could, master the ways of the Forge, same way they did. I wasn't quite as good at it, but my son, oh, he was good. He had the Anoa blood. I never did, but he did.
How did you come to have an Anoa for a son?
It was odd. There was a woman one day who showed up. She asked me to raise this child. Raise him in the ways of the Anoa. I was never able to have children of my own. And there was something different about this woman. She was... I don't know. Grand. Of course, she was beautiful. Made it a lot easier to say yes to a beautiful woman. But she was also warm. Water's wake, the water was always cold. But she was a warm mist that entered the room. Felt like I had purpose then. So I raised the child, taught him the ways. What was the third part? Raise the child, teach him the ways.
That you keep saying. What is that?
It's what she told me. Raise the child, teach him the ways. And I forget. You know, typically, tapping his temple, it's a steel trap. This eludes me. Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Sorry. You know, this is Tiaraki Anoa. And Anoa responsible for saving the Republic of Thrall. He was willing to sacrifice himself for those good people.
He was a great one. My dad used to tell me all about him. Well, I was just passing through and just thought I would say hello. And
Well, it was good to meet you. You seem like a good young man.
it's very nice to meet you too.
Raise the child. Teach it the ways.
I suppose walking away, he's just gonna kind of whisper goodbye.
Poe!
He's gonna turn around.
Raise the child. And takes a step closer. Teach him the ways. So he can protect and defend.
Protect and defend.
I raised you, and I taught you the ways. Now, the rest is up to you, Poe. To protect and defend. You are the Anoa I always wanted to be. Look at you. Your own armor, your own weapon. I am so proud of you.
I've tried really hard. Tried so hard. You've taught me everything I needed. And I'm sorry I didn't come back and see you.
You know what? It's okay. Because you're here now. You came back, Poe. You came back. I love you, son. And I'm so proud of you.
I was just gonna hug him.
And Uba hugs you back. Oh, I'm so sorry. I must have fallen over. I am so sorry. So sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Good thing I caught you.
Good thing. Old man like me takes a tumble and have a hard time getting up. Oh,
Yeah.
do you know this one? Tiaraki Anoa. One of the greatest.
Was. Well, I'm glad I saved you from a fall. But I got places I need to be now. So,
Yes, young man like you probably has a lot of important business to attend to. Don't let me
Yes.
stop you.
well, hope you have a good rest of your time here.
He takes a deep breath in and looks to the statues around him. All my life, this is where I wanted to be. And here I am. Raise the child. Teach him the ways.
Abpo's gonna start walking away.
Okay. You begin to walk away, and you can hear that mumbling fade. And with that, at about that time is when the rest of you start to head upstairs. And you can see Poe kind of in a trance, the witch holding onto him, and you can see that the witch has just tears streaming down her cheeks. And Poe, you come back too, and you can see that Poe's cheeks are also damp. And she gets up from the other side of the table and just hugs you, Poe.
I'm just gonna fall in her shoulder.
She's kind of very motherly, like hand on the back of your head, just holds you. And eventually kind of pulls away and looks at you and says, regardless of when or where you're from, Poasa, that man loved you so much. And you are, I have no doubt in my mind, an Anoa. That hall, those statues, the words. You must be. Sent by someone to protect and defend. It seems as though that's what you're doing.
Well, I'm just glad I'm not a weed.
No. Not a weed at all.
Thank you so much for doing that for me.
Of course. She smiles and kind of turns to the rest of you and says, well, breakfast is ready, if you'd like to eat. And As soon as you make your decision, I will send you where you need to go. If you don't mind, I need to get some fresh air. It's best I leave you to discuss alone. If you have any questions, I'll just be outside tending the garden. She smiles. Unless anybody objects, she heads out.
Good morning, guys.
Good fucking morning to you too.
Bianca will sit next to Poe and just kind of put a hand on his shoulder. And I don't know what that was, but it seemed very important to you.
It was everything to me.
You don't have to talk about it. Just know that we're here if you do.
Yeah, I want to tell you guys everything. I just don't even know how to explain everything. That's just... I know exactly who I am now. No, I'm Puasi Noah, and I'm with you guys, and we're going to defend and protect. And we're going to eat breakfast. You guys want to start eating?
Fuck yeah, we are. And Cecily is getting too much food. Just
Like the
load up
day
a plate.
after the hangover.
Yeah, she's still... It's like the amount of shit that has happened, she's still like, man, I'm drunk and tired. Like, man.
Man, I'm drunk and tired. For flavor, Bianca slept, but have y'all ever tried to sleep while you're anxious and something's racing through your mind?
Every night.
Like once a week.
Yeah. So that's the kind of sleep she got. So she definitely has like those not well rested bags under her eyes, but she slept enough.
So, you know, she told us that moments like these are hard to come across.
Yeah,
with
I've
adventures
noticed.
like ours. But I was going to ask, how are you guys feeling about all this?
As dramatic as everyone else, I guess. I don't know. I mean, we stopped Selrid. Why can't we save the entire fucking universe, you know? Whatever.
You believe
It's just...
that was the thing that we did? Stop selling to... It's kind of funny.
Yeah. Whole thing's pretty funny.
You ever wonder what it would have been like if you stayed in Waterswake? Would you have ever known you could do all those magical things that you found that you could do?
I'd probably be in prison if I stayed in Waterswake. But, no, I guess not. I wouldn't know.
Bianca, if you stayed in Summer's Rest, stayed with your shop, would you ever known that you could turn into that scary thing that you turn into? Or did you do that before in Summer's Rest?
I mean, I don't know. There's a piece of me that's. I think I would have been on some route, even if it wasn't with you guys, and I'm really glad it's with you guys. I don't think Summer's Rest was ever going to be where I stayed. I don't know what it would have been, but I'm glad if I'm dealing with all of this, it's with you guys.
It's crazy what spending time in prison can do for you. That was a joke. Cecily, don't go to prison again. We got lucky the first time.
Yeah, I'm not planning on it.
That means you too,
Prison's
Desmond.
not too bad after the second or third time.
Jeez, Desmond.
You meet some really interesting people there. And he will look at Shima and Bianca.
So, what are we doing? Do we want to do the land thing or the water thing?
I would like to say that, for one, although when I left from Fjardaleth, which is the northernmost region, entitled Tyr's Temple. That is where I left from. I did travel by land that time, and while it took a while, in most situations I was able to de-escalate due to my nature. Just being a Goliath, most will let me pass. The same might be true on the seas, but I do not know. I did not travel that way. When I left from Fjardaleth, I was with the companions, and no ship was brave enough to attack them.
I mean, even before that knowledge, I was kind of feeling safer about the land route, mostly because I'm familiar with it. I mean, not this
Same.
land, but traveling on land.
I do, however, hate to be the guy who's always cold, but I'm the guy who's always cold. I'm
Hello.
pretty sure the further north you get, the colder it gets.
Luckily, in the Fractured Peninsula, there are heat pockets, steam vents that create a more, in some areas, hotter temperatures. Very misty, though, hard to see through. Now, two things that I can only assume have gotten worse, just so you can make the best educated guess on what is the best way to travel. When I left, the pirates that linger within the shattered shields and splintered spears, they had only been getting more and more aggressive. As Crow Lord collects more power, more people wish to rebel to take his seat. So, very little respect is paid to ships, even if they fly merchants' flags or peace banners. So that's not good. But also, on land, there is a group, a nomadic tribe, who move throughout the Fractured Peninsula, and they tend to... When I left many months ago, there was rumors, that there was someone from a far-off land who came to them, teaching them strange magics. Specifically, there were individuals from the native tribes of Afera that were teaching the Ualjit blood magic. So, there is a chance that, regardless of which way we go, we will be in the face of danger. It just depends which one you prefer.
Ishimo, how might we consult the universe and let it decide?
One doesn't simply contact the universe. He gives a quizzical look. The universe consults you. If you're asking for my assessment, I would say that we have far, far more enemies on the seas than we do on land. But I would prefer our trip be expedited. I think if we travel by land, it would be wise to travel by horse and pony, at the very least.
Well, I mean, as long as we're talking about it, boats are kind of scary. So, that's my expert input. I want to be on land. Look, I mean, either way, we're gonna run into people that want to kill us, and that's just what it is at this point, I think.
We also just
Maybe
have...
that's why no one adventures.
Yeah.
What was the name of that one pirate dude we met?
Darrow.
Yeah, you mean Darrow?
Yeah, where was his boat around? Did he say where he liked to pirate at?
Pirates don't shop in that way. They simply go wherever their means take them, whether that be to rich coves or merchant vessels. If I were a pirate, I would certainly put my stake on these waters. If there's no repercussions for attacking merchant vessels and there's no merchant marine to protect them, that makes for easy pickings. Then it does become shopping.
He told us he would kill us the next time he saw us, didn't he?
Indeed he did.
You're right.
So let's put it up to a vote. Bianca? Land or sea?
I mean, there's not a lot of incentive to go on sea right now. I'm thinking land.
Cecily?
Land with horses. And a pony for Ashima.
Desmond?
Land, but I'm gonna complain about how long it's taking. Just telling you now.
All right. I think land be a good pick.
Didn't even
Shiva?
fucking ask me. All right, no.
Well, Flint was going to answer that. You were next. You were next. I was asking you.
No. So just skip me. It's fine. Okay.
No, yeah, I asked you.
A majority's
I asked you
already
right
been
after I
reached,
answered.
Ashima.
That everyone's opinion matters. Ashima, land or sea?
I'm just not gonna answer. I abstain.
Alright, well. Ask you, I guess.
All right. Keothi?
So I'm the last person you ask. I'm just kidding. That'd be so uncharacteristic. Like,
I was about to say, like, Jesus.
That's like her one thing. She hates being the last one.
We found her flaw.
Yeah.
always picked last for stone throw. Now this.
Yeah, Goliath dodgeball and Goliath gym class at Goliath High School wasn't very kind.
Damn you. No,
Damn.
she would she would say, well, I think I would have to side with land, provided the blood magic isn't running too rampant. I might still be able to de-escalate situations. There are still some people who take great pride and great respect in that of Quindilar.
Okay. Well, we picked. And like Desmond said, we are going back in time, so... Fuck it, I'm getting another plate of eggs. And just sit around for a little bit more. And Cecily will do so.
I was gonna eat some more too.
Okay. Alrighty. Very cool.
Ashima, the tension between us is growing so... No, I'm just kidding.
Ashima,
We need to have a 4-hour character building session.
Ashima bottles up for the
Just
next
for those two.
4 sessions and it finally comes out.
Ashima,
Hey, no, that's my thing.
I think it's time for you to leave the group.
Alright, bet. I got a new character. You guys are gonna hate him.
Bone Rider.
Bone Rider.
Oh,
on.
Rider.
Oh no, it's the gorilla.
Even better.
That's the opposite of Ashima. Just like
Gorilla. yeah,
Gorilla.
pretty much.
What's just implying his name is Gorilla? Gorilla, what's your advice? Berries. All right,
Just,
good
I
move.
like just the grunt. The grunt alone.
Yeah,
is-
it's just like, and then you guys take whatever answer you want from that. Like it won't even be like a oh, this means that, or like he indicates with his eyes that it just be
It's like droids on Star Wars. You just get
Yeah.
one grunt, but it's like
Yeah.
you interpret it as like an entire sentence.
yeah, you said it, Chewie.
Oh my god.
Fuck. Well. Yeah, Cecily's smacking on some eggs. That's what's happening. That's what I got.
All right. Sounds good. So with that,
Okay. Well, I was gonna. Okay. Bianca's gonna be like, "Hey, Keothi, Poe, and Desmond. Can I talk to you outside?
Oh. Sure.
Okay.
Let me go grab my cloak.
Who's going to put the napkin
And
yet on
bundle
the
up.
table? Get up.
Cecily will, once they leave and it's just her and Ashima, she'll just. What makes them so fucking special? Did I miss something?
If you did, I've missed it as well.
Okay, once everyone is outside, Bianca's gonna be like, I know it has just been one thing after the other. Trust me, I get it. But birthdays. I feel like we shouldn't ignore the fact that Cecily's been hinting at her birthday. I don't know when it is, but... And then Ashima's never celebrated one. Should we do anything?
I always
I mean-
liked my name days. They were always fun for me.
I think it would be important for us to do it.
I think we should do it sometime soon before we're just traveling again.
Desmond just looks like all of the episodes of Friends where Joey has no idea what is being talked about, but he just kind of nods anyway.
Desmond,
how can
why
we...
are you looking like that?
I'm just agreeing with Bianca. His eyes are really wide, and he just keeps nodding.
All right. Well, Desmond won't plan this. Do you have anything in mind, Bianca?
I mean, I haven't had a name day party in forever. I don't even know if we need to throw them a party. I was just thinking maybe something small and nice. Like, I know my mom and I always make oatmeal cream pies. I can make those. But I would want to ask the witch if she had the supplies, because I don't know
That would be
where I'd
cool.
get
And
those.
we could probably make her a... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just, does she have a favorite snack that she likes?
Bread.
Bread. Well, that's vague and unhelpful.
She really likes, what are the fluffy ones with the sugar on them?
Beignets.
Beignets. Oh.
She loved those. Maybe I can make her, like, out of metal, like a tiara or something.
Oh,
Something.
maybe not tiara.
What?
Can you imagine her wearing a tiara?
I don't
Just
know.
from the way Desmond laughed at it, I don't think that's a good idea.
Oh, wait, but a bracelet. She has a
Bracelet.
locket.
Bracelet?
Maybe
locket?
make her a matching bracelet.
Okay. What should just be, I could do something. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about it. I'm gonna have to start writing down ideas or something.
Well, does anyone know why she has the locket, or who it's of, or what is in it?
It's a good point. I don't know. She doesn't
know.
really seem like a sentimental
yeah, you
person.
know, Cecily. There's the line.
Okay.
You just don't cross it.
If you guys really, really want me to,
Oh, no.
I'm willing to eating of in the middle of the night, opening it up
Nope.
and looking at it.
Nope.
Desmond?
You kept going.
That would probably be the first thing to ruin her birthday. No offense, Desmond.
It's a good idea, just not in this situation.
Desmond, I can
No,
make
but
you
I
a
can-
lock that you can try and pick lock or something, just to get
It's
your
not the- it's not the-
just to get that out of your system.
Fucking fidget spinner!
Give you a fidget locket or something.
Desmond's gonna kind of like look Poe straight in the eye and say, well, first of all, yes, please. But second of all, that's not the point.
Oh, yeah.
We laugh now, but he
I
like
just so-
uses it to design like a skeleton key that can pick lock everything.
Oh my god.
Whatever. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Christ.
Get double expertise lock picking.
Okay, so oatmeal cream pies, bracelet. What gift should we give Ashima? He's not materialistic in the slightest.
Maybe.
I mean, I can go look and see if there's some nice tea leaves around, but it kind of feels weird that the druid wouldn't have already picked those, and then I'm just giving him something that she already found.
Well, if maybe she has something special that you could get from her, it's still a gift to him. It shows
That's
that you
true.
had the thought, and I'm sure Ashima, just like myself, is someone who, above all else, believes it's the thought that counts.
Okay, yeah.
Or we
Can I
can
say
get
something?
razors for his head.
Can I say something out of character that would be really, really fun, but I don't know if there's any reason to actually, for me to say it in character, but it's just something that popped into my head.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
I could make him a homunculus servant that's made out of a teapot. It's just this little like walking, flying teapot, and he can just have it.
That is
That is
exactly
so
something
cool.
I think Desmond would think of.
I think so too.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know if he knows how to. I mean, I know that canonically or like class wise, it's something that I'm capable of doing. I just don't know if it's anything he would have thought of making at this point.
Well, no,
Okay,
because
well-
the witch, she had like cups and stuff come to life to move to the table.
Oh yeah. You see,
Yeah.
like Desmond have like a "that's so
What do you
Raven"
want
like,
it?
moment,
That's so real.
That's
and
so
his
real.
I'm really just referencing all of the sitcoms right now, but his hands kind of just start touching his face, and he's like, "I could make him a flying teapot.
A what?
You can
You
I could try."
you
Okay,
will try.
Desmond.
try.
You will try.
Just I think I would need some stuff.
Okay, so plan is walk back in like we said nothing, and then slowly all of us one by one ask the witch in quiet private places, and then the tomorrow birthday party.
Do we look happy or sad?
Well,
We should look like nothing.
What did
Blank?
they
I
ask
don't
what we
know.
talked
well,
about?
I'm sorry, but the witch is over there. She stepped outside earlier, so she's out here now too. I just wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page.
No,
Here.
I was like, she's gone.
Nope, she's over there. There's a little garden. There's some. I think she's picking carrots right now.
I thought when she said I have to go tend to the garden, it was some kind of like,
Ethereal
just
time.
yeah, like I need to go
Yeah.
tend to the garden. That is time.
No,
Just I'll be right back.
nope. This time looks like a real one. It's right there,
Okay.
about
all
20
right.
feet away.
Hey, it's because she's tending to the perennials.
Ah.
Okay, I
God.
think it'd be best if we split up now, because I would hate for them to think that, there's been a lot of serious stuff going on, and if we want to play it off as something that they don't have to worry about, and something that's not serious, that they're not a part of, maybe like me and Desmond can come back in, and you guys can go talk to her, and then we can somehow switch at some point, or me and Quixote, or whatever.
Okay, so I guess new plan, talk to witch in increments, I don't know, and then party this evening with gifts and oatmeal cream pie and
Oh man, this
Oh.
evening I'm gonna have to start sketching.
Yeah, same.
I just
A lot of pressure.
need to start baking. Why don't we send Cecily and Ashima on a Cecily Ashima adventure somewhere, and then they come back.
I
And
do
while we
have
pour-
something
We can
else
send them to
that
go find horses. Horses and a pony.
I have something else that I need to get, but I have a couple of things. Oh. Do any of you have like crystal here?
A what?
Like a big chunky crystal?
Ask the witch.
Okay. Should we send them off now? Should we just do
Yeah.
that? Let's just do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, first let's talk to the witch. Let her know our plan. Send him off.
Also, out of game question, does Quixote does she have sending prepared? I know that sending is learned by clerics, but I just know.
I didn't see it last time, but maybe.
Spellbook. Oh, she does have sending prepared. Yep.
Because, I mean, I need a gem or crystal worth 100 gold pieces to Oculus Servant. And so if I can also ask them to get it for me, and then if the witch has it, we can just sending to them that the witch had it and I don't need them to get it, was all I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Because that's
Okay.
like the one thing I need.
let's relay this to the witch, and then I got an idea for how to send him off, so I'll take lead on that. I'm pretty good at acting, so
This is true. We've seen that multiple times before. Okay, talk to witch.
Wait,
Retell
first
the
right now?
witch. Huh?
Are we talking to the witch right now?
yeah, right now, let's go.
Yeah, let's
Okay, okay.
Limited time.
All right. So all of you head over towards the witch, and you can see her tending her literal garden that's outside of her house. And she looks up as all of you approach and says, "Oh, hello. Is there something I can
Okay.
help you with?"
So, you talked about how those moments, they're few and far between when we're on adventures like we've been on. And it's come to our attention that one of our friends' name days is coming up, and one of our other friends has never celebrated a name day before. And so, while we're here, we're trying to plan a party, and, well, Bianca Desmond, you can tell her what you might need.
Yeah, I just thought I was gonna make the food like oatmeal cream pies. They're really simple if you have just like sugar, cream, and oatmeal, and brown sugar, and butter.
Yes, all right. I have all of those things.
And flour.
And then-
That's it.
Yep.
You, and this is a big thing, you have like, he's gonna kind of like hold up. I don't know how big a 100 gold piece gem would be, but however big it would be, Desmond's gonna like approximate with his hands and be like, a crystal or something that's like this big, maybe, that I could have. If not, I can just ask somebody to get it for me. But I just figured I'd ask for it. I can pay you if you want money. I have a feeling you don't really.
No, but it's a gift for your friend, for Ashima.
Yes.
Then yes, I have one I can give to you.
Is Joe, is there a stream nearby, like a river?
Oh yeah.
Do you mind if I borrow your river later?
That's very courteous of you to ask. So, yes, you have
I just-
all rights and honors to use that river. I bequeath them onto you.
Queef.
You've been way too kind to us. Thank you so much. Okay, well, we're going to send them off to get some things. We have decided to travel by land, so there's plenty of supplies we'll need for that. So we're going to send them off, and I guess we'll have a name day party later. And of course, love to have you there. I guess you will be there because it's.
Your house.
I guess we should have asked if we could have a name day party at your house first.
You can just see that she's smiling and shaking her head. Yes, you can do that.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna look at Desmond and Bianca. I guess let's go tell them to go somewhere else.
Lead the way, actor.
And Poe's gonna push dust off his armor a little bit, and then he's gonna start walking back into the house.
Alrighty. So you walk back into the house. You can see that Ashima and Cecily are still there. Would you guys just been
As the things say. Cecily just ate too much, and she's kind of just like, God, now I have a new problem. And she's kind of just.
And
laying
during
there
that time,
sprawled out.
Ashima was like reading any of like the various like scripts or recipes that the witch had just around the
Oh yeah.
little thing. Just and getting off as I wrote. Your dad silently reading the newspaper on Saturday morning vibes, where he's just like completely consumed about it. You ask him something, he goes, "Oh, yeah. Oh, the Bears are doing good."
Yes, Desmond, I think that would have been a great idea. We should. Oh, Ashima, Cecily, the people we were just thinking about.
Desmond's gonna give Poe a thumbs up and a wink.
And I'm going to nod and sweat a little bit. So, friends, we have decided to travel by land, and we were just talking about inventory and travel.
Without us.
We wanted to relieve you guys so that you could eat because we were finished eating and weren't hungry anymore. So, we thought it would be best that you and Cecily go and find us the horses and pony for traveling by land. Figure because, yeah.
Cecily has the most baffled expression on her face. Like, of everything that's happened in the past 5 sessions, this is the thing where she's like, okay, what is happening? She's just...
If you guys don't mind.
And I can
it
also
would just be helpful.
vouch that Poe is not lying, because you know that I am the most skilled person here at telling when people are lying, and Poe is not lying.
And I'm in
Why is he standing like that? Does he need to shit?
Trust me, if I was lying, you would know.
You are bow-legged.
What? Look at my legs.
You just stand a certain way when you're trying to say whatever. I'm gonna teach you how to lie later. Fuck. Okay. You want?
It would just be helpful, getting a head start on some of that stuff and.
Because see, we're going to pack what's here, and you all are going to get the ponies and horses.
All right.
Yes, it's because we love you.
Me.
Okay. Okay. Whatever the fuck is happening, I'm gonna leave this house now.
Cecily and myself will procure transportation. Whatever foolishness you're planning on, please have it discontinued by the time you return.
If you guys, while you're in town, if you can, see if you can find, a small little pearl or something to buy for me. Desmond will reach into his bag and pull out, 12-ish gold and give it to Ashima and be like, if not, it's no big deal, but I could use one.
Oh, I will look.
Thank you.
Cool.
Very good.
Oh, you've never said that in your life.
Said what? Well,
Very good. Very good.
I-
She's gonna just stand how he's standing right now. Yes, very good. Ah, friends, companions. What the fuck ever. Okay, do what you're gonna do. I'm gonna have a better time with Ashima, I guess. And she's out the door.
Following behind.
Okay, so as soon as the two of you leave and the door shuts, Keothi looks to you, Poe, and says, "Well, that was close. They almost were on to us."
Desmond's gonna give him another thumbs up and wink.
People often think that's hard to do, but it's easier every time.
Acting is the easiest job on the planet. Nothing to it.
Oh, this is so goofy.
Well, I don't want to waste any time. I'm going to go and sit by the river. I just think best out there, and yeah, I'm going to go. He's going to rush out the door with his notebook.
All right.
I'm losing my mind.
Bianca will get to work with cooking some
Gotta
oatmeal
do the
bacon.
cooking method. Wham,
Yeah,
bitch!
yeah, really.
Let me see you
Oh
make
my
it
Now
God.
that's a throwback.
Yeah. Okay. So, Bianca, you get to cooking easy enough. Bada bing, bada boom. At this point, we'll probably say it's 11 a.m. at this point. So you get to cooking. Keothi will aid you in the cooking, sort of gathering whatever supplies you need.
Yes, thank you.
Since Eurydice can't be here to help you bake, Keothi's just gonna have to. She's just
Right.
gonna have to pick up that slack.
And she probably would have put me in the oven anyway, so it's fine.
A
Oh God.
Oh,
You know, my joke was wholesome, Felicity.
I know, I'm sorry.
It's your fault.
I started the birthday stuff. So
okay,
I
you-
started the
I
wholesomeness.
know, yeah. You were overdue for something grotesque and
Yes.
dark. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Okay, so you start cooking, easy enough. Poe, you start making. So whatever you have in mind, you have plenty of time to make. With Keothi helping
I'm
you.
trying to find.
Researching. So then we'll hop to Ashima and Cecily. So you guys do make your way through the forest. Like I said, it's about a 45 minute walk from there to the Traveler's Respite. But eventually you do get to the Traveler's Respite. And you can
Cool.
see, sitting out there, dogs out, still barking, running around. You can see Ingvald sort of poking at the fire. Who goes there? Oh, it's you. Hello.
Yeah, just us weirdos again.
Good morning to you.
Oh, good morning.
We were hoping to, well, if you knew anyone in the area where we could procure mounts, any sort of transportation, our current itinerary has us going very, very far north.
Well, I suppose. I can sell you mounts here. Sadly, there was a chap the other night. I was the one who bought the last horse, but we have other mounts available. Depends on where you're going.
Okay, so what are we dealing with?
Well, just depends. Where are you traveling? Through the mountains, near the rivers, in the water?
All the way to the top of the peninsula.
Aye.
Yeah, no, I agree.
We might change mounts on the way there for expediency, but at least getting us to, well, the next sizable city or town which we could trade in.
All right. Well, I'd recommend two different options for you. So we do have some. Let's see. For one, we do have large elk that we've trained to ride. They do a great job in more rocky, mountainous terrain, which would probably be very helpful in Fractured Peninsula. But if you're looking for speed within the forest, we do have 3 mountable wolves. Larger, heavier in stock and size, but even by that large Goliath woman you were traveling with, could even withstand the weight of one of hers.
Right, but there's 6 of us. So are we all gonna fit on 3?
Oh, I can double up. Might have to put the small one with the big one, but other than that, it'll be fine.
I have no issues with this.
Oh, believe
Okay.
me, when you see them, you'll understand that they'll have no problem hauling any amount of weight.
Well, I say we do the wolves then.
Mm.
Shima, what's up?
What do they eat?
Oh, that's a good question.
Well, they are carnivorous. They do like raw meat, but luckily, due to the situation and the dangers of the woods, any bandits or ne'er-do-wells you come across, whatever leftovers remain, let the wolf snag for a bit. They'll be fine.
Now, see, this was a bit of my apprehension. Uh,
Or if that's too gruesome, whenever you camp for night, just don't tie them up. They'll run off, hunt, they'll be back.
the natural way of things. Very good. Let's have a look.
All right.
Pumps his arm into like a checkmark style.
Cool. All right. So he takes you back around to the back of the tavern, and you can see that there's a sizable stable that is back there. He takes you in through the two large barn doors, and you can see that there are quite a few stalls. Most of them, however, are vacated. As he said, most of the horses in this area are. The last one, as he said, was sold to Nalfian. So he takes you down a little bit further, and you can see the large elk that he was talking about. Large antlers coming off the top of their head. You can see they kind of nod their heads as you pass by, but then you get to the very, very back, and you can see the wolf mounts. Now, just generally, here's what they would look like with a saddle. But they stand off the ground like a Shima probably goes up to about their back. Like the top of a Shima's head is like where their back ends. So on their hind legs, they're probably about 8 feet tall.
They're fucking pony-sized wolves.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Huge.
Why, the dragon in the mountain? What, did you feed the other horses to them?
No. Born and bred this way.
Goodness.
Wow.
No, also, they don't like horse meat for some reason. Far be it from me to know why. It's the way of things, so we feed them what they like.
Do they like us?
Oh, they will. Pretty much what we do is we train them to your scent over the course of 5-10 minutes, and they're loyal to you. Till you return them back, we unbreak the bond. Bada bing, bada boom.
Bing. Okay. That sounds good to me, I guess. And Cecily will lean to Ashima and be like, hey, remember, like, ages ago, before we were outlaws, where I said everybody's gonna have to spot me money? So, I didn't get any money between then and now.
Yes. Presuming I grabbed a bit of a fund from Bianca.
Yeah.
How much for the three of them there?
Each one will run you. Well, typically they're all about 100 gold apiece, but considering the work you're doing with her, we'll say 50 gold apiece.
Okay. Do you remember, Felicity? Do you remember how much money we have? I thought you were keeping. I don't remember who was keeping track of it. I thought it was you, but
Yeah, we have plenty. I can go back and check, but we can do that. So that's 150. Yeah.
Yeah, or 15 platinum.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got that. Let me go to my inventory. I'll just mark it off when I find it. But
Yeah,
we
he'll
have at
start-
least 300, so.
okay, he'll start.
Oh, wait, no, we have 1,410. So, yeah, we're good.
Yep.
So yeah, Ashima will start counting it out, and Well, I just pause on one of the coins and say, long shot, but a friend bid me ask, where would one go to buy a pearl around here?
Well, if you're looking for a pearl, honestly, I mean, the closest place that would have one that's not the witch would probably be south of here in, let's see, Rasenka. That'd be my best guess.
Ugh.
But in all honesty, the witch might have one.
Oh, that's fair. Well, I don't know if we have all the time to go there, so
I do enough for Desmond. I'm not going all the way there.
I am worried about what he'll do with it. Just the wolves, then.
Very well. Whenever you're ready to depart, just make sure everybody comes back here so we can train them to your scent. Or, you know what? I'll lead them out there to the to her hut. They'll meet you out there with them.
You seem apprehensive about her.
Man hears stories is all. Sure, there's no meat and potatoes to them, but still, enough to make a man think.
I don't imagine we'll be in her care for too long. So, she has offered us hospitality. But I'm not in a position to say anything either way.
Don't get me wrong, helps out the people who come to the inn who are injured. Helps rescue people in the middle of the night who get frozen. But person doesn't have that much power and tend not to abuse it in some ways.
I catch your meaning.
Well,
Yeah.
anyway, I'll get the wolves ready, and I'll meet you out that way.
Very good. Thank you for everything.
Oh, of course. If you're ever back this way, I'd love to have you stop by. Everyone in the tavern got quite the kick out of you, so you're welcome here anytime.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Make a permanent copy on our map of the location.
Good to know.
All right. So we'll, I guess we'll start heading back in the meantime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Sounds good. So Ingvald will
And,
be back with your mounts.
And either while we're getting the mounts or walking back or whatever, Cecily's just gonna. Okay. So I'm just gonna come out and say it. Back in the cabin, that was a what the fuck, right?
Not the phraseology I would use, but yes, indeed it was.
What do you think they're doing?
I have two guesses.
Okay.
The first one is that they're getting into trouble. That one of them was poking around somewhere they shouldn't have been. And for some reason, they feel that either or both of us should be out of the picture while they investigate something. The other
That'd be
was by
weird.
your own admittance last night when you were less than... with the world.
Oh wait, and you can see the dreadful realization of what you did when you were drunk hit her. But rather than the usual shameful stories for her, it's just mentioning she had a birthday. But you can see all that emotion, and she just. Oh. Yeah. I said something to Kyo, didn't I?
I believe so. I imagine they sent me along with you because they figured I wouldn't tell you for some reason. Well, actually, I'm not sure why they sent me with you. Not that I mind. I always and will always enjoy your company. It's just...
Well,
Poe seemed to be the inconfident man. Surprised he didn't come along.
yeah, well, if he came along, he'd have to keep doing what he was doing.
I'm not sure his nerves could manage it.
I don't think he could keep it up for more than 3 minutes. God,
Well,
dude needs to learn how to act.
I think we have our answer there.
Oh well. Whatever, I just hope they don't make a fucking deal out of it.
No, They know you. It'll... Well... Well, I actually don't know what to expect.
What do you mean?
I don't... I don't have a name day. In any sense.
You...
In actuality, I'm not quite sure how old this incarnation is as myself
Wait,
in this life.
you don't... You don't know when you were born?
I'm 33-ish? 32?
What the fuck? I don't know anything about me being born except the day. How do you not know the day?
It's not really something... Well, have you not been paying attention to anything I've said about the Tongwu path?
Maybe.
We give up ourselves to rejoin with the whole. That's...
Oh, you think like a name day is
it's a bit of an
too
insult.
selfish?
Well, exactly. That's why what Daku called me was so hurtful. He used my monastery nickname. It was... With many of the other acolytes and students, it was a little challenging when somebody called for a Shima and a small halfling came running, or a very old man with a long beard came. And so, as not to confuse us, they referred to me by an ancient Loshari word, Laoshu, or just Shu, pointing to his large halfling feet. You can probably imagine the joke.
You know, I did find it weird that he was calling you a shoe and you don't wear shoes.
When he called me that, it was... Well, it would be like me denying everything that you stand for. Stripping away every fiber of your being. Everything that is Cecily. It would be as if he took away your name, your identity, and simply called you, or rather revealed you, to be a scared teenage girl.
So it's like he was saying the whole 11th reincarnation thing was bullshit.
Not only that, But my entire life is meaningless.
Oof.
Well, at least try to have some enjoyment in your name day. I have long, perhaps in the first 60 seconds of knowing you, given up hope of winning you over to my religion. So maybe try and find some enjoyment in today.
Well, wait, no, I mean this makes sense. They're probably putting together something for both of us. I mean, that's like a I don't know. I didn't realize it wasn't a thing. I mean, the name day is kind of a big thing here, so I don't know. Maybe they just want you to know what it's like. Even if you don't want all the pomp.
I don't want to know what it's like. I would
I
go
don't
as far
know.
as to say I have an aversion, a disgust to knowing what that is like.
Yeah, I think that's a little fucking dramatic. Look, I don't hate name days for some big reason. I like them. I think they're cool.
Well, I don't. So, we'll leave it there. We'll enjoy a treat or a drink, something in your name, and then we'll ride on those wolves. Something that I'm actually getting more accustomed to thinking about and warming up to the idea of.
Okay. Just one question, I guess.
Of course.
If the idea disgusts you so much, then is it disgusting to you that some of my best memories are from a name day?
Not at all, Cecily. Some of your favorite foods have meat or meat products in them. I don't consume them, but that doesn't mean you.
Hmm.
It's a personal decision. You have your own to make. And although when we first met you complained about never having choices, you have a whole life of them.
Right. Well, okay. I don't know. I guess. Look, if we get back and they are planning something for you,
They will have exactly 3 seconds to stop.
alright, fine, whatever. Forget it.
Alright, we're just gonna continue on our way.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. So, as the two of you make your way back, it's about an hour there and an hour back. So, as they're away, Poe, Desmond, Bianca, are the three of you doing anything aside from the creating and planning you were already doing?
Poe is by the river, and there's just tons of notepaper pieces thrown around right now with all these different ideas. And he's using his hammer at the river, trying to tear at stone and things like that with his hammer, trying to form something. But he might be on to something.
Okay. Bianca, same for you. Just kind of.
Yeah, I imagine her and Keothi are just setting up the finished oatmeal cream pies and beignets on the table, just kind of in like a aesthetically pleasing way. But that's about it as
Plating
far
it
as
up,
they
yeah.
got.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then Desmond? Desmond, where are you?
I was muted. I'm sorry. No. So Desmond is off in a separate room, tinkering on this little teapot robot, with the help of Maggie. Both of them wearing their like goggles down, tongue sticking
Max!
out, tinkering away. Is this something I can even do in 2 hours? I feel like that's really ambitious.
You have the materials. You have what you need.
Okay.
I'm sure in the raw, it is 8 hours. I'm sure that's what it is raw. But this is a special occasion.
I also have
This
a
is
second
cooked.
question.
Rare.
I'm in the raw. It is the homunculus servant. It's like it serves me, and it's like with my stuff. But if I'm giving it to somebody else, does this count as one of my used infusions, or is it like a separate thing that I can just make?
I think it's just a separate thing because it's its own ability, right?
Well, the homunculus servant is an infusion. I just didn't know if it would count as an infusion since it's not going to be like on my initiative. It's not going to be tied to me since I'm giving it to Ashima.
Since the teapot,
Till
since the teapot is not going to have any like use in combat or anything like that, I'm okay with it not counting towards your infusion.
Not going to, because it does have like AC hit points,
Well, yeah, but
abilities, and things it can do.
I'm saying that since Ashima, if he even decides to accept the gift,
Okay.
I don't think that he would use it in that way, so I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Because then, think about like, okay, well then I'm just gonna make a homunculus for everybody then, and then we can have double the combat power, So like, the implication having it be like only used as like a roleplay thing, okay, fine, that won't count towards one of your infusions.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Beans.
Sweet beans. All right. Anything else?
That's all I got.
So much pressure.
Alrighty. So with that, Poe, eventually you finish up your bracelet.
Oh no.
You finish it.
Yeah, it's finished. Just Evan is like, yeah, I have two ideas. I just can't choose between the two.
Well,
All right, I'm ready. I'm ready.
with that, you gather your items. You keep the beignets and the oatmeal cream pies as warm as you can near the fire. Desmond, you finish your homunculus with Maggie. Poe, you eventually come back with the bracelet. You have your gift for Cecily and Ashima. You have your treats for Cecily and Ashima. Unbeknownst to the three of you, well, to the four of you, that one person or both might not have a great reaction to what you're about to do. As another hour passes, and eventually you can hear footsteps approaching, you know that Cecily and Ashima have returned. You can hear them walk up the steps to the door of the witch's hut, and you can hear the door slowly creak and open And as the door opens, as you ready to yell whatever you're going to, that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
I'm gonna yell, comrades!
Oh my goodness.
Man, this is like a soap opera now.
I know. What an odd turn from the beginning of the session. I think it's really funny though, you know, because like obviously this is gonna be a whole ordeal. This is gonna be a whole thing.
Oh yeah.
Definitely,
Oh yeah.
definitely not the type of thing we can do in 4 or 5 minutes and just go over a little bit. So, what a cliffhanger though. How's Ashima gonna react? I'm excited to see.
I'm gonna kill
Shima is
everyone.
leaving the group.
Ashima, yeah, we joked.
He
But,
leaves.
This is the straw that broke the camel's back.
oh man.
No, yeah. I really think there's a solid chunk of material here based on the reactions and all the after effect and like one-on-one conversations and yeah, man.
Sorry, Connor. I just
be
read
good
your
shit.
message. That's hilarious. That's so funny.
I have several things that I'm gonna actually run by you here in a second.
Okay, that sounds good.
I'm gonna send you another quick message.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed tonight's session. Be sure to tune in on Friday for the Explorers of Afera, where they are hopefully going to meet with the mages of the Gemstone Archipelago, find some resolution there, or on Saturday for the Isles of Iverion as they continue their way wandering through the Fortress of Isinalor, or next Tuesday for the continuation of the Salamander Coast to see how how Cecily and Ashima react to their surprise party. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope that you have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, or night, whatever it is for you. All right. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.
Bye.